Without the canoe builder, there would not be a canoe. Without the navigator, there would not be a road to go. Without the captain of a ship, there would not be order. And without the crew, there would be no place to go. All these things are not said. All these things are not heard. How hard it was. How many places they went asking for help. How many times they would say no. Our own canoes, the Hokulea, the Hawaii Loa, they should have been in the back of us too. Because they also had the expertise of Maui. They could not sail the Hokulea or the Hawaii Loa with Maui's knowledge, but they are not here with us. They said they were too busy preparing to go to another journey. But in my heart, I felt, what is other journey when Maui is going to go? I think all the 3 canoes should have been on their water coming with him. But in a way, we're glad that only Makali came. But I know that there will be envy because we did get here, and they will be envious of us. But still, we must stay together as a canoe family, no matter what they say, yes or no, whatever. As a canoe people, we should stay together. Yes, voices in the wind, voices that said, I put you on that island centuries ago, generations ago. It was I that put you on that island. And it's not there for you to keep. That island that I put you on is for you to take care. It's for you to take care for my descendants. Voices in the wind that we do not hear. Words that are said, but you cannot hear. If only you would listen. 2 canoes came. One was modern and one was of our ancestors. But they came side by side. Together they came. Why can't we go through life like that? The modern and the ancient together into the future. Not lose our elders' way of doing things. Without the elders, we are not here. Without our ancestors, we are not here. Because you did not fall from a tree. You did not just happen. It took the ancestors who discovered islands that we are here today. In that we should be very grateful, especially for the navigator. Because the navigator was really the one that produced islands people. Thank you.
Working to protect, perpetuate, and preserve our culture. And we try to do it through education. In 1990, we were approached, we meaning a bunch of us that sailed Hokulea for a number of years, were approached to do a project on the Big Island. That project later came out to be Hawaii Loa, the Voyage To Hawaii Loa. We were asked to look for 2 call-outs in our forest, native forest, that was big enough to build a voyaging canoe. For about a year, we went through all the coal forests looking for these logs, and they were logs. We hear some contradiction about that, but there were logs in those forests. But because our forest was logged out, the amount of forest that was still intact, wasn't very much acreage. For us to go into that forest and pull those logs out would mean destroying more of the forest. So the decision was made not to get the logs from Hawaii. Okay? 2 logs were that eventually became Hawaii law were donated from the Native Americans from Alaska. They were called Sea Alaska, or the Tlingit and the Highland tribes. But even though we couldn't build those the Hawaii law with the native logs, there was another project that was a spin-off of that Coast Church, and that became known as Maoloa project. Okay, Maoloa is a single hull intercoastal canoe that was made traditionally. We started that project late 1991 and we finished in 1993. And when I say traditionally, look at those pictures. It was done with the ceremonies and protocol of our kupuna. We fell a tree with axe, stone axe that stone came from Kianakakoi, up in Mount Kia. With the help of our kupuna, Uncle Robert Kekialani, Uncle Sonny Solomon, Uncle Clarence Madaris, this project took off. After the launching of Maoloa, we then thought about building a voyaging canoe for this site. And that's where Makali was built. That's when Makali was built, right here in Waimea. In 1995, February 1995, Makali took his maiden voyage to Tahiti, up to the Tuamotus, to the Marquesas, and back to Hawaii. And that voyage, we were joined with 3 canoes from the South Pacific, one from New Zealand, Aotearoa, called Te Aurere, and 2 from the Cook Islands, one Te Aotonga and the other one Tutu. All 6 canoes came back to Hawaii together. In 1999, we just finished the Emau voyage, which is dedicated in honoring Master Navigator Mau Pialu, who unselfishly gave up his time for 24 years to help us relearn the art of nautical navigation. It was an honor for us to take him back. We actually promised him over 20 years ago to do it. Yeah. So we left February 10th of this year, and we got back. What was it? We got back here June 4th of this year. So we just got back. We had a total of 52 crew members. Our oldest crew member, 69 years old, and just walked in. And our youngest is 18. About 1/3 of our crew members were students that came through our educational programs within the last 4 years. We have crew members from all different parts of the islands and Micronesia. We have from Maui, from Molokai, Oahu, Hawaii, and the Big Island. Crew members from Lazarus and Marshall Islands, Ponape and Federal States of Micronesia, crew members from Sarawak, where Mau's from, also crew members from Guam, and crew members from Saipan. So it's a big family. It's not a little small family. This time I'd like to turn that over to Chad Paishon. Chad has been sailing for a number of years, but Chad was captain of this voyage, the Emau voyage, from when it started until.
This voyage, especially Emau voyage, was a voyage. I can say that was very special to a lot of people, especially to Papa, to Mom, because like I mentioned that this voyage was something that people have verbally acknowledged to him to do something to acknowledge. But really, Gavin mentioned about his generosity. He kind of stepped beyond generosity and stepped outside of his cultural maybe framework. He took a big chance in what he did. As we had heard about so long that Mao had done something that was not really what they do in their culture. It's teaching outside of their own family. The navigation and their knowledge is really something that we firsthand got to see that is kept within their own people. So it was a real generous thing when he came to be the navigator for Hope Land on its maiden voyage in 1976. So from that time, and as many of the crew members prepared this trip, like we said, we did it here in 1999, but it was a trip that was planned for about 2.5 years, that people had been planning for. All the preparations and all the logistics that plane was taking on had been things that we and a bunch of other people who came along to help in the trip started planning 2.5 years ago. And because I think all those people came because one, they had heard about Mao, and through Micronesia, Mao is well known. Even here in Hawaii, I should say throughout Polynesia, among our families who choose to sail on the canoes. To me, I say choose because to me it's really a choice that people make. You just don't happen, I think, to come along to the canoes. I think it's a choice that's been made somewhere in people's lives. Then you come to the canoe. Just like Papa being with us. A lot of the students, like Clay talks about, that some of them have heard us talking about this man who would become a teacher or a friend. So many things to us. And for them, for those who decided, again, made the choice to stick in there and possibly become a crew member on the trip. Because no one's guaranteed a seat. But it's always made known that if you come and you work on a canoe and you put your effort, your true hard effort for it, that you'll be there. So all those people that I could say maybe from 2.5 years ago thought about first doing it, and because of weather, because all of the time we have to deal with weather, and that's what all of us know. We had El Nino come through, so the trip was delayed because of that. And it was a choice that was again made. Mao came here from his islands and played. Brother Shorty, and all of us sat down and talked about it. He said because of the weather was so bad down there, I believe that we delayed. So finally, after that season had gone through, we started watching for weather again, and then was the beginning, getting everyone going again. Because you can imagine even after a year, if you've been training. It's always been said it's not easy, to build something is very easy, to have a dream and to build it, but then to take care of it, to keep on nurturing it, is something I'm sure you folks here at Tutu's house, a lot of effort that goes into keeping this place going. It's the same for the canoe, or same for a voyage. After 2.5 years, to get everyone okay, back on track again. It's a tremendous effort. And I think without the support that we've gotten from the community here, from so many other people, with different organizations that always come and support Waimea and Makali, I don't think those things would have been possible. As the time started getting closer for this trip, and the trip becoming a reality, we was put out to the schools in the communities. The schools, the elementary schools, the high schools on the islands all helped to gather food for the trip. Again, private donations came in from different people. It's always been something with Makali that we've always done things not really knowing where things are going to come from or how it's going to get taken care of, but just going on making sure that everything is planned, making sure that everything that you're doing is right. And I think one of the big things is always checking the seeing what we're doing is this all right? Is this okay? And when they're okay, we know that somehow it'll get met. And for us having play and lead us, we need someone like him and keep on having through things, keep us on track. So it's real good. So a lot of people came together to get Makali ready, to get provisions ready, to get things ready to bring Mao and the people that he wanted to crew, to get the escort boat, to find the escort boat, see who, a vessel that was capable enough to take care of themselves, also to possibly, in case of an emergency, take care of the canoe, take care of its crew members, and vice versa. All those logistics that I had to go through, planning, meeting with all the different people through the Marshall Islands and Micronesia, because their system there is still, their chiefs are still intact, they're still there. So you go through talking with political people, and then you have to deal with the local chiefs too, and trying to balance those things. This man had to take care of all of that. Sitting. Don't envy his job. I'd rather be on a canoe and do what he does. We really do appreciate all this hard work. So once all those things were in place, and I was right, Mom came here. I remember the day we picked him up and he came here. And everyone had been working on the canoe a long time to get Makali ready, get her loaded, all the food that was collected. And the day he came, we went to the airport and picked him up. And when I first saw him, I said, "Hey, Mom." All the thing he asked me was, "Is the canoe ready?" I told him, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." So from there was bringing him back, let everyone get to meet him, meet the crew that he had brought with him, his son and 4 other crew members. That, like they said, they're all part of Makali, part of the crew with us. And I think it was special for that week or so that we were together before we left, because now they, for all the crew members who had never met Mao before, and even for the crew members who knew Mao, was to make that connection with him again, to catch up. Old news, new news, and to go and study with him early in the morning. We would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, drive out to Polo, and watch the stars, look at the stars. It was a necessity, because the navigation and the that we would be doing would be in Mao's language, because this trip is for him that was dedicated to him. It was decided that we would do his navigation by learning his language and learning stars the way that he sees it. Pololu is a perfect place because you can see the ocean where the sunrise, where the stars come out of the ocean. It's dark enough where you can see. There's not any lights around. So you can actually see the weather because you're going out to learn what stars are rising, the type of clouds that you're looking at. What he's really looking at in the morning is to see the sunrise, to tell you all those things that the navigator needs to know. And also for the rest of the crew to start getting their heads all set to what they're going to be seeing, especially those who are going on the first leg. And I should say, especially for those who weren't going to be going on the first leg, because by the time they would have to meet us for the second, third, or fourth leg, they would just be getting straight onto the canoe. They don't have any introduction. So it was that brief 1 week that they had to prepare and to learn and to listen to those things that Mom was really trying to say. And after we go on, we can talk to all these crew members because all of them were there, all of them did the trip. Mao is a very, very special person that we think of him as one of our living ancestors. Because, like we said before, we look at him as a complete man. He's known for his navigation. That's not all he does. He knows his medicines, builds his houses. He's the fisherman. He does farming. So he does everything. There's nothing that's left out there. He can't do. And for us to just learn a part of what he knows is something very special. So for that week that we got to spend, and then our escort boat arrived from Maui, man by the name of Mike Durkington, and his escort vessel called the Zipper. It's a catamaran that came over even through the rough weather that we were having at that time before we left. Great people that really stuck in with us and made the trip all the way through the Marshall Islands, through Micronesia, and then back home here. A lot of our crew members also crewed on the escort vessel. A lot of them had crash courses in learning how to sail a catamaran, a modern day catamaran, opposed to the canoes that we have, opposed to Makali. So that's something that we had fun with. But as we left here on February 10th from Waimea. We had a small ceremony at Waimea. It was nice because for us, our families were there. Our kukuna were there. The children from Kuna were there. So we had a whole range from the small ones to our elders all there before we left. After the coolers were said and some chants were done, we left Waimea and headed to Pukio, to the site of Halipili. They were constructed on the grounds of Hawai, Four Seasons. And we had another ceremony there. From there, we left out that afternoon for Marshall Islands, a couple thousand miles away. With the crew, how many? 16 on board. Greg, Connie, is, it's a special thing. All of them are special. I think the first leg of the trip, to me, always sets a tone for the rest of the trip. And I think for a lot of the crew members who went down on the first leg, I know for a lot of them, they started understanding now the stories that have been talked about so many times. That when we sit around and talk about the voyages that we've done, now they get to put everything to use. When you let go all the lines, all ties from that. Because everything, when you're on the canoe, your whole mind, your whole body, everything has to be on. You can't be thinking about it. Because in order to be safe on the ocean, in order to be there to help out each other, your mind, your body, your spirit needs to be there on the canoe. So that's one of the most important things that we try and get everyone who's doing the legs ready for, is to make that that transition from leaving things on the land, that the things on the ocean stay on the ocean. So in both ways, when you come back to the land, you come back to everything that you have from here, your family, your life, the ocean, everything on the canoe stays there. Beautiful.
We're going to show you a short video. It's so footage was shot. It hasn't been edited yet. Yeah. We're in the process of putting some documentation things together. We'll just give you an idea of a little bit of what life is on the canoe, and then also get into the Sarawak island where Mao's from. Yeah. Then after that, we can open it up for ocean.
I think the biggest thing for a lot of us was that the main thing Mao was happy with what we're doing. That before we left here, the main thing was that we represented ourselves well, that we represented Hawaii well, because so many of them had heard of these people that Pialo, what they call Mao, they call them Pialo, that he had gone to teach these people in Hawaii. And they had heard about it for 24 years, 25 years, but they'd never seen anybody from Hawaii. No one from Hawaii had gone down there to acknowledge them. So the main thing for us was to go there and to not just represent Makali ourselves, but also represent the people of Hawaii, and to really carry ourselves the best that we could and represent Hawaii the best that we could.
Are they under someone's rule?
I know at one time they were trust territories, but now as far as Marshall Islands, they're unto themselves now. Federated States of Micronesia, which encompasses from Kosrae all the way across to Ghana.
So they have like their own leaders that
they have
make
their own
the rules.
they have politics, they have democracy, so they have all their own. But yet, like I said, at the same time, they have their local chiefs still. But when, for us, it was like, I think it was kind of like a weaning off thing, because when we got to Majuro, it was like almost no different than being here. You have the cars here, although they're a lot tinier. Yeah. And as we started going on to Kosrae, you started seeing a little bit of the culture. Even on Majuro, you'd see it, you saw it. Then as you got to Kosrae, there's a little bit more of the culture, a little bit less of quote modern day. As you got to Pohnpei, they still had everything on modern day people, but we got more into their culture. And as we got to Chuk, is when probably Chuk is the biggest island group that's closest to Mao's islands. So a lot of the people from the small surrounding islands, where Mao comes from, met us in Chuk.
Do they visit each other?
Oh, yeah. As far as for Chuk, do. Yeah, as far as like Pohnpei, they go out that far, mountain?
No, out, the Pohnpei is, they're the closest thing to Koping Marangi and Kuoro, which is Polynesia. So they've got all got their own significance. What's right is close to Tarara, but Tarara is also part of Commonwealth of the Marshall Islands. So all those islands want to have different governments, but basically the traditions are the same.
Their diet is stuff that they raise there and catch there and all of that, yeah?
In Mazuro, it's a lot of the food comes from the States. When you get out to Uzai, Ubai, Piglet, Inuitok, Juliet, Namili, and all those places, a lot of it is traditional, but it's still supplemented by cat food. Like Chad was saying, as you get closer to these other islands, you see more of the traditional things happening.
I'm just wondering about the health of the people there, you know, like that Sarawak.
You know, it's funny. Although you might see how they live, but on the islands you don't see anyone without a home. You don't see any health problems. From all the other islands that we came from, you go through areas where there's homeless people. There's people who don't have, people who are living on the side of the roads. And we think of modern society as being civilized. Well, I can tell you, these people are a lot better off the way they are than being civilized. On their islands, they take care of all the people. There's no one saying that, oh, you have more money than another person. Oh, it's the same. So it really sets you back to look at their own values and things. And kind of like what I was talking about earlier, about how Mao came outside of his, his culture to share with us. Yeah. On one hand, we were very thankful for what he did. And on the same hand, when you sit with some of the chiefs there, and in a very nice way, we're kind of scolding, for what Mao had done as he went out. But in a way, you kind of step back and think about it, and you look at them and how much of their culture they still have intact, and how well their people are still well off. And then it makes you it's not get mad, you just respect them for what they're doing. Because still in this day and age, their people are still well taken care of and their culture is still alive. So who are we to judge their ideals and their values? And what is holy, for what Mao did for us, we can never ever repay him for what he's done. We did take him a freezer that he wanted, because we asked him what he wanted. And in that way, the freezer was to help freeze the fish for the island when they get their typhoons.
How do they run it on generator?
Took a whole solar panel setup down there for them, so they don't have to run it on a generator. Because the only gas that they get comes once a month if the ship comes. Once they run out of gas, the boats that you see in there, those engines, everything, they're well taken care of because that's all they got. Once that's out, they can't run anything.
How did Mao ever find out that someone in Hawaii was interested? How did somebody in Hawaii find Mao?
How did Mao end up coming here?
Well, actually, in 1974, the organization started called Polynesia Voyaging Society, and they were looking to build a traditional voyaging canoe, all in the same metrics as all our ancient voyaging canoes. When that was built, they're looking for somebody to do that had the knowledge of doing non-instrument navigation. So throughout the search in Hawaii, and also through Polynesia, they couldn't find anybody that still had the knowledge, intact knowledge to do this voyage. Fortunately for Hawaii, and I guess all Polynesia, Mao's niece's husband was in Hawaii. He works for the U.S. Fisheries, or he was at that time. During the course of the conversation, they talked to him about, because they heard about some parts of Micronesia where they're still doing traditional navigation. And Mao happened to be here in Hawaii at the time. And that's how they hooked up. And actually he started teaching in 1975, non-history navigation. But it was still, you know, I mean, it wasn't really accepted by the Western world, as well as some of our Hawaiian people. Because, like Chad was saying earlier about him going outside of his culture to teach, one of the reasons why he did that is because he see what was happening to his people, the younger generation. They weren't interested in it, not all. If you look at the islands that he's from, there's a whole bunch of islands, Pulat, Oliai, Unity, a lot of these islands where the younger generation were just getting introduced to the Western ways, and they'd rather put on Nike shoes, not glasses, and boom boxes, because that's what they're exposed to. So if Mao coming to Hawaii and found people or students that wanted to learn, invested a lot of time in teaching here, with the understanding that hopefully someday if it's lost in these islands, people from here go back and teach people. He wasn't doing it out of glory for all our recognition. He was concerned, truly concerned. Like Chad was saying earlier, when we went there, we met a lot of people, more so in Pohnpei, in Chuuk, who resented the fact that he came out to teach. Yeah. A question always comes up, how come we didn't have it? Well, because in our culture, Hawaiian culture, of all Polynesia, I believe, to be a hokele, to be a navigator was the epitome of the culture at one time. Everybody depended on the navigator, just like in Micronesia. And because it was of such high conflict, you had to be, I don't know what the word is, you had to be chosen. And again, when the influence of the Western world came, I guess a lot of our kupuna could not see any of their family being ready to accept this. They died with the knowledge. So when Mao came to Hawaii and started teaching, like I said, he was really put down. Really put down. A lot of places didn't want to even talk to him or about him because he went out of his culture to teach somebody else. When we got there, we still had a little thing, some things going on there, but a lot of those people that felt that he was wrong, then now feel that, hey, maybe what he did was right. Because even these guys that were talking, they were pointing finger at him for teaching. They didn't know how to do navigation. So, in essence, when Makali went, it wasn't just, our main focus is to take him home and honor him in his islands, yeah? For what he brought to us here in Hawaii. But also another thing that happened was there was a reawakening among a lot of their people.
Their own culture.
Yeah. See, for us, we got to go back generations after generations after generations after generations to find something that was intact as far as navigation goes. Those people, they only got to go back one generation. They still got grandfathers and grandparents that are still alive and know. So this opened the door for a lot of them.
Clay, that island doesn't look like they have any big trees, like 4 trees to make canoes. What?
Ulu. Those are ulu trees.
Their canoes are made out of wood fuku. They're plank. They're not
all plank.
Out of one log, they're plank. It's a ulu.
So they're still intact, they're still intact and they're proud of it. And like talking to, there's a picture up there about the 7 navigators or something. Well, I think there's 2 young guys in there. But you talk to those other guys, now they understand a little bit, or they agree that Mao coming out to teach navigation. It's alright, but not the chance. because we don't understand those checks. We don't know the history of those checks. So therefore, it should not be shared with us. The navigation side was alright, but all just like our kupuna. And then they were alright with that. The navigation side, fine. The true history of what they call port. Never.
Aloha. Aloha. You know, before anything else, I would like to say thank you for the privilege of being on the Makali and of seeing the other part of the world, the other part of our ocean. It was such a wonderful feeling. That feeling of waiting for the Makali to arrive from Tahiti. As we waited, and when we saw Clay and then coming into the harbor of Tokeiti, you know how our hearts swell with pride, because Makali is from Kohala. Makali was made right here in Waimea, and the pride that we felt because we had hands on that canoe. And what a beautiful canoe she was as she sailed in. And what wonderful men that we had that had the heart and the hard work. We did not see what they had to go through to get started. The dreams that they dreamed. They were on the Hokulea. They had dreams of their own as they traveled with the Hokulea. And they knew that they could build their own canoe right here, right at home. And so it was double for us because we were waiting for our canoe. We can say ours. We could truly say ours because we do not see how hard the ones who had the dream had to work to do the groundwork, to even begin to make Makali come alive. We do not see that. All we see is her. But we have so much to be thankful for that they worked so hard. They tried so hard. They must have been turned down so many times, turned away so many times, but they did not give up. They did not give up. Even I would like to confess that I was not a canoe person. It was my husband and my daughter who had the love of the sea. I would rather have done something else. But, you know, my husband would be fast asleep, and then our windows rattled when the winds blow. And he would hear a new rattle coming from either the parlor or someplace else. He would jump out of the bed, get in his red truck, and hurry down to Waihai because the wind had turned and he was worrying about Makali. He gets down to the canoe and there is Clay asleep in his truck. Him too worry about the Makali. These men that had the love of the canoe, they still love the canoe. And then when we went to Tahiti, we waited for the canoe, and we got to meet the Tahitian people. What I felt so hurt is when we had a council of elders that were with us in this beautiful home, and they were talking. And then I had to have an interpreter, and I heard the words. I heard pu'ukohola, and then I heard other words, o'ahu. And I said, hey, tell them that's from my place. That's where I come from. And the man turned to her and told her, you tell her that those words came from our place to her place. They belong to us, they are our children. It's our canoe that discovered their islands. And I was very humble for that. And then he again said, we still have our language. Tell her she has lost hers. And you know, that really hit home. What happened to us? And it's a good thing that we had these people with dreams that wanted to bring back the canoe. How so important, our culture. Our culture to put pride in our young people. Our young people who did not know who we were began to ask questions, wanting to know it's this generation. These generations that are demanding answers, that are demanding to say, who am I? Who was my kupuna? Where have the land gone? And we are showing them. We are showing them that the canoe came, discovered Hawaii. Not one nail was on that canoe. It was all lashed. And there was no motor, no nothing. They came from because of the stars. They could read what was up in the sky. And they talked back to the navigator. The navigator knew everything around him. He was a very important person because he knew everything that was in his head. He did not have books to read, only from the knowledge of his kupuna that he knew how to sail with the stars and find Hawaii. The alakai that was so important, the ali'i, and for me to tell the young people, be proud of who you are. The heritage belongs to you because those people that first came and discovered Hawaii were all of royal blood. They were all chiefs. There could not be a commoner on board those canoes because the commoner could not stand above his ali'i. He would have had to crawl on that canoe, and when the ali'i went to sleep, he would be in the ocean. So I always talk to the young people, be proud. Your beginning was a great beginning. Be proud of who you are today. And now our young people, our UH students, all are coming. And they feel the pride because they're still here. Otherwise they would have been gone a long time ago. But really, I am very grateful for being a kupuna because I got to see Tahiti and all those places. And this last voyage, I'm very grateful, thank you. Oh, what a beautiful place Saipan was. You know, when I went to the highest spot they had, and I looked at their beauty, was different from ours. Theirs was the ocean. You can stand on that spot and see the whole island clear around. But it was a different colored seas that they had. And it was the smoothness, and then you see the waves coming in, and all those battleships that are rusting. They're all there. You remember the Second World War. And there are stories there that they share with us. But it's the people. The people were so wonderful to us. They shared whatever they had. And the island people, they too need to save their culture. They too have been overrun. And as we talk to them, we share with one another, and we feel the togetherness of island people. Because we have to realize that we received something from our ancestors that no one can take away. We were brought to an island, a beautiful island. And we have tried our best to keep it the way our ancestors had it. But of course, that's a no now with all those buildings coming up and cutting down all trees. You know, I feel so much about the canoe because I feel once the canoe start again on the seas, then our language comes back with our punana leo, our no'iau. You know, it's a dream that a kupuna has to again stand tall. And like our young men can say, ku kanaka maoli, and be proud. And we are grateful. We have somebody like Claire, Shad, Shorty, that shares the dreams that we have. And their families who work in the back and do all the back work that we do not see. And to them we owe the Makali too. And all those, even if they only gave $1 or more, they cannot help in a canoe, or like the UH students come down and just scrape barks off the branches. You know, all those little things goes into the Makali. And she has a big heart. She does. And you know, these people, like the navigator, the other guys, they all think they're the one guided canoe, the crew. They think they're bringing the canoe to Pine Islands, but all you have to do is steer her straight towards the island, turn her mast around so she can catch that wind, and she's on her own. Yeah, they think they're the one. They're just there to guide her, and give her a little pet and say, keep on going, old lady, with them. Well, in the night when it's so lonely and she's on her own, and you know, you there, you say, that's all right, girl. I'm beside you. You know, that's all a Makali needs, to be loved. Because if you love, she feels it, and she loves you back. But then if you are angry, or if you're sick, she feels that too. And she's heavy, because she loves everyone on their canoe. I know I talk too much, but I get carried away. And I hope she's writing the right things down. You know why? My son brought this slip of paper from advertiser, and when I read it, and I saw my name, and I saw Claire's name, but underneath there it said that Marie Salmon was the granddaughter of the navigator. And I said, oh no, I'm not that old. And I think he was cross. And I was telling my grandchildren, get me that guy's name, I gotta tell him, I'm not a granddaughter, I'm a great. And in this I would say, thank you. Thank you. You are sketching me like that. as you all know, I'm Kupuna. Now this is the Heiau Ko'a Holomoana. Ko'a means a cluster, and Holomoana is navigation. And this is where the little boy I told you about, my ancestor, came here at the age of 5. His kupuna nui brought him here, and he lived here in the back with the kahunas, learning all about seafaring, all about the currents, about the stars, and everything there is to learn about navigation. And this is where he came to learn until he was a young man. Then his kahuna said, I'll take you out. And they went as far as they could. And when they could not see land, then the kahuna left him outside and said, bring the canoe back where I am. But he got twisted around and he landed over Kaho'olawe instead. Because the thing he said was the wind. Too many winds that he got twisted around. But over here is where all the navigators of Hawaii brought their ali'i nui. Whenever the king wanted to go, either deep sea fishing or Tahiti or wherever, this is where they had to come first. They had to first go to Kanaloa. And the reason why he's by himself is because these are only elements. And he is the one that belongs to the sea. So the ali'i nui, or the king and his navigator, would bring the offer and offer it to Kanaloa for permission to go onto the sea. And the reason why Kanaloa can come up, because they claim that he has the form of a squid to octopus. And they do go on land, but not very far. So this is where they came. And all the people around here would have to take care of the ali'i and his bunch of people and the navigator. They would have to feed them because the king could not live any own time he wants. He has to wait until these kahunas have to do all the prayers. And with the ali'i nui, they have to respect each different gods. The gods of the universe, I guess we call that. And they all have to have awa. And so each one had to be prayed. So it took a lot of time, more than a month or so. And at the same time, the kahuna is asking for sign to go on sea. And all these things, these people have to feed until they're ready to sail, then they go. We brought Mau up here. He comes up here and I know all the time. And when Mau sat over there, he said that those big pohakus, a lot of them were brought. Wherever the navigators on ali'i, whatever land they came from, they bring their own stone and they put up there. Now when we went to the Marianas, Mau's son came up here and he chose a stone and they took it back. And we put it back to his ali'i nui that's buried inside Pan someplace. So that's how the old people used to do. And there's an old story in my family, the Paliku tale. They said after this navigator took his ali'i, who was going to Tahiti, and as they left this place, I don't know how many weeks and months they were on the ocean, but then a great big storm came up. And there was no stars in the sky for days and days. So the navigator, Paliku, was lost. But he kept praying and praying to Kaneholani, God of the sky, to show him the way, because he didn't dare tell anybody he didn't know where he was going. And how many days he prayed. Finally, in the distance, he saw a cloud, and the cloud was in the shape of Tahiti. So he turned his canoe around and headed straight for that cloud, and he did reach Tahiti. Now, when Mau and them came up here with the crew of the Hokulea, they were talking, and then Mau explained, and I was listening, that that's how he can tell when land was close by, because the cloud does not move. If he wake up in the morning and he see the same cloud in the horizon, the same shape, he watched that cloud. And if for 3-4 days he keep watching that cloud, it's still there, he knows land. And I said to myself, oh, that's my family story. But then as the years went by and as storyteller after storyteller talked, then it changed to the shape of Tahiti. But I was amazed that Mau had said that. And that's what happened to my ancestor. He must have watched that cloud. And all these things are so important to you, to all of us island people, because we are all come from ships. We come from the canoe from the very beginning. And later on, ships came. And we are all mingled with the blood of all different people that came on our island. That's why the ocean is so important to our race. Do you have any questions so far? I keep telling and no questions. Oh my God. And when this little girl, that puepa is around here, where the navigator couldn't be a navigator, he had to go back and plant sweet potato, where he lived around the bend, about a mile from here, puepa. Now every time he would be sitting on the edge like this of the sea and gazing out, and that little girl would climb on his lap and he would tell her the stories of the navigation and of his days at school. And he would say, he feel real bad because he was the last one and there's no more navigators in our ohana, the Kaliku. So the little girl said, why? Oh, I have only girls left, so they cannot be navigators. And that little girl again asked, why? And he said, because the gods would not accept the offering of the awa from a woman. And again she said, why? Why not? And he said, because the gods were Haumea to blood, detested blood, any kind of blood. So no blood was allowed over here. And navigation, because she could not offer to come here and pray to all these different gods. When my grandmother always talk about gods, one day I told her, oh, Grandma, the gods are false. I said, we have only Akua. We believe in God. She said, yes. She said, I love God too, but I respect the gods of my people because they taught our people respect for the Aina, respect for the Ohana, respect for oneself. That's why the land is still beautiful, she said, because that's what the gods of our people taught us. Taught us Malamaka Aina. It is not yours. It's for you to use and take care, but it does not belong to you. And she also said, it does not belong to only you. So one day I was with her down the beach, my sisters and my brother, cousins. We were so happy that we were going down to the beach because she said tomorrow morning we're all going kahakai. But then we saw my grandfather getting a long pole with a hook, and we was wondering what he was going to do. But anyway, we were happy. That morning we got up early and we rushed down to the beach with our ohana and our kupuna. But the sea was rough, was boiling. Oh, we were so disappointed. But you know, underneath was such a turmoil. And our kupuna said, wait, Kanaloa is going to give us a gift. So we waited. Then all of a sudden, up on the pali, Kohala, Makapala, where we live, is steep. And that's why he had brought the hook, because the squid was climbing up the pali, trying to get away from all that turmoil. And my grandfather was knocking the he'e down with that long stick and putting it in his bag. And then we saw the squid coming up towards the shore. And we ran and we tried to catch. We were having so much fun. And then when Grandpa's bag was full, he said, lava, enough. But there was still plenty more squid coming up. We never stopped. Then Grandma said, we go, hele. It's not there only for you. And we went up and we were up on top looking down. And we saw the auku'u, the seabird, had come down, and a seabird was hanging on to one leg of the squid, but the squid was under the rock. And we were laughing because the bird was pulling, and the squid would not let go. And then all of a sudden, the whole leg came off. So we laughed, and we thought, oh, that squid gonna get only 7 legs. But at least he was safe. And then we saw the mongoose coming. And then we understood what Grandma said, that those things are not there just for mankind. They're all there for a purpose. And we must respect those things. That's why our people have that ohana system. They only take so much. And if they have plenty, they're going to pass it on to somebody else. So it's never good to hapuku and waste. But now we have phases. So now they're getting hard time. Look for what they used to find so easily, even our opuli. But all these things, your generation have to think about, because it's in your folks' hands. How are you going to protect your island? Because we are an island people. Our ancestors are buried over here from the very beginning, because none of us ever just happened. It had to be many generations of kupuna who cast their seed on fertile ground that you are all here today. Many times my grandmother said that to me. Don't get smart, because you didn't just happen. So have respect of the things of your kupuna. And you know, with us asking questions, which you are doing now, lots of you want to know about your birthright, who you are, what are your heritage. Your heritage comes from the canoe. Those first people that first came, we don't know for what reason, they decided to get on the big wa'a, the double canoe, and begin to leave the land they come from, whether it's Tahiti, Tonga, or wherever they came. That is your heritage, because everybody on that canoe were all of royal blood. That is your birthright. Nobody can take that away from you. They can take your money, they can imitate you, they can take all your land, but this they can never have. It's your birthright, because you were born into it. And so you must be proud of that fact. You must be proud of your ancestry. But yours came as royal people because nobody, no makaainana could be on that canoe. So the king and maybe his half-brothers or cousins, they're all ohana. They were the ones that came. And that is your heritage. And after they got here and through the generations, they were just one big family, one ohana. Nobody was higher than the other until greed began to surface. And one with plenty ohana look at the other one, oh, he has a better land, and then go and kill that one and possess his property too. And that's how we began to split. On Hawaii itself, we had about 3 ali'is, 3 kings. It was Kamehameha who brought all the islands together under one rule. And Kamehameha is from this island. So you folks cannot go home without thinking of Kamehameha. So no questions so far. So that is your birthright and something you must look forward to in your na'au, in your heart. I am somebody. My beginning was somebody, which is very important. Yeah, you folks all akamai. Nobody like ask questions. You know, you can go up, you know, a certain time of the day you come, and the way you stand, you'd be surprised. You see they have eyes, they have faces. It's a different way the sun sets, the shade. You can all go up and look. Now you can. And the school was in the back. All the kahunas lived behind. And this was a very religious place. Because down in the valley, we have another heiau that belongs to Lono. And that one is the one that the farmers take their first harvest. They offer to Lono, or they pray for rain, so that they have a good harvest. Because all this area was only sweet potato. Taro could not grow here. And then there's a Makali trail, which they call the lifeline. And every ahupua had a Makali trail, and it's right down there. And they went up Mauka for water. There is water in the sea, but they always go up for water, fresh water. No question. Too good. That's the kind I like. So you folks can go up, check around in the back. Nobody gets the money yet. Okay, you can go. You sit around. Yeah, go. Try go in the center. It's easier to walk straight and in the middle. Take your time. There's no rush so you don't fall. I used to walk not this one, but the other heiau, looking my grandmother was. Kamehameha was not up there because his father was a half-brother to the king, Kalani Okupu. So his grandmother was not up there, you know. I think if you would say take steps, Kamehameha would be about the 4th step down. The only way he could have conquered was to kill all those blue bloods. First was Kiowa, his own cousin. He killed at Waimea. That was the first Ali'inoi he slaughtered, because that's Kalani Opu'u's son, Kiowa, and a rightful ruler, Kiowa, Kuaha'ula. So he was supposed to be the king of Hawaii, but Kamehameha killed him. He became king of Hawaii. And he went Maui, and he went Oahu.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah, he had to get rid of all the blue bloods, the ones that come from our brother. They know because of the genealogist. The genealogist is a person that had a computer mind. He had to learn from the age of 5 only that one thing, and all went in here of all the genealogists of all the Ali'is. And another, he was even higher than the king himself, because the king only the picture, but the others did all the work. Like the kahuna nui, he had all the other kahunas under him, and he had to be a man with a intelligent mind. So the king was just a figurehead. He just sat on the throne. But all these others did all the work in the kingdom. Strong, fierce people. And they slaughtered the people that were already here. So if we look at our ancient history, the Hawaiians were the ones that were the slaves. These other people that came on canoes were Tahitians, were Tongans or whatever, different islands. They came here and they slaughtered the people that were already here. So that would have been the true Hawaiians, but they slaughtered them and the rest they made into slaves. The untouchable. Nobody's in a hurry. It's nice and cool here. But if you're up here when the sun is setting, they're all different colors. And according to Mao, he said when the shadow falls, that's where your land is. Like up here, maybe they have a Tahitian who brought this.
Okay. This is Waimea. Bertelmann. Roll this market. Roll. Bertelmann. tubutungur, tubulmer, taitung. Okay. From Oroluk to fish market. This side is rising. That side is setting. Okay. Now we count the stars in the sky. Täällä Mäinä, täällä Paishon, täällä Uul, täällä Margar, täällä Möön. Täällä Gulik, täällä Uol, täällä Mäinä Perfang, Uol Fismag. Tupuri Mäinä Perfang, Tupuri Uol, Tupuri Gulik, Tupuri Möön. Tupuri Margar, Tupuri Uul, Tupuri Paishon, Tupuri Mäinä. Tupuri Payer, Tupuri Aliel, Tupuri Sarrapot, Tupuri Tung. Tupuri Misari, Tupuri Machimaritau, Uol. Machimayas, Taaluk, Taal Misari, Taal Tungur, Taal Sarrapot, Taal Aliel, Taal Payer. This one is we count the stars around, right? Now we make a room. A room means when we selling, we go to Burma. The front canoe is to Burma, and the back is Tanmaya. Then we go to Burma. Burma is the front canoe, the back is Tanmaya. A room, Tanmaya, a room to Burma. Tanmaya, a room to Burma. Tanul, a room to Burma. Tanmargar, a room to Busarko. Tanimul, a room to Buru. Tumur, Tanigulik, a room to Burmisari. Tanula, a room to Brook. Tanaman Perfang, a room to Machimerto. Whatever look, a room to Fisherman. To Burman Perfang, a room to Machimayas, to Buruela, a room to Taluk, to Burigulik, a room to Tarmisar, to Burman, a room to Title. To Burmargar, a room to Sarapol, to Burul, a room to Tadel, to Burpayefang, a room to Tarpay. Octa pues, este todo la papa. Voy a cargar por ahí, que chat, and sorry, we stay in the white drinking because I estimate early tomorrow morning, then we go inside that chat. I don't like we go early, we're gonna stay outside. But I know where is the channel. It depends first. Leave it. Then the Makali and Seabird. Maybe 2 o'clock or 4. Now it's the people take over on the independence. Now it's ready for don't turn to the water. You looking at the water inside the pot?
This water is good.
Now we stop talking because sorry. Now it's almost time to leave.
must have been cold there in my shadow. To never have sunlight on your face. You were content to let me shine. You always walked a step behind. I was the one with all the glory. You were the one with all the strength. A beautiful face without any. A beautiful smile to ease my pain. Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle. You are the wind beneath my wings. Ooh. You are the wind beneath my wings. You are the wind beneath my wings. Ooh. You are the wind beneath my wings. Hey, Maupopo, hey, Hawaii.
Fair land of flowers and golden showers, where the hula girlies sing and sway, on their ukuleles hear them play. Oh, 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 those hula blues. Tell me, have you heard those hula blues? You can't imagine what you're feeling blue about. You simply glide and take a slide and you want to shout. You wiggle, you giggle, you wiggle to the hula blues. Imagine what you're feeling blue about. You simply glide and take a slide and you want to shout. You wriggle, you giggle, you wiggle to the hula